One of the unique Australian vehicles in Team Yankee is the anti-tank Land Rover. This is TAU 121, a blister of 4 resin and metal anti-tank Land Rovers for the Australian forces in free nations. These are Series 2 short wheelbase Land Rovers fitted with a 106mm recoilless rifle. In Australian service, these were known as gun buggies. Here are the parts. There are 4 resin hulls, 8 metal crew figures, 4 bull bars and 4 M40 recoilless rifles. I have plenty of plastic M40s left over from the weapon sprues in the Battlefront M113 kits, so I plan to use these instead. Detail is pretty good. Resin is always a bit less detailed than a plastic moulding, but these are okay. Assembly is very simple. There's an assembly guide included, but it isn't really needed. The blister also includes 2 unit cards, both for anti-tank Land Rover sections. More on these later. Here are the assembled kits. There was some very slight trimming to do on the metal parts, particularly the bull bars, but they went together okay and look good. Probably the weakest part of this kit are the bull bars. They just join onto the resin hull via 2 posts on the bottom. Time will tell how well these will stay in position during table use. I've used the plastic M40 guns. These just look a bit crisper than their metal counterparts. Anyone who has built Battlefront's M113 kits will have loads of these in their spares box. Let's look at some history. The Australian Army procured 72 M40 106mm recoilless rifles in 1961. These could be fitted to M113 APCs, but in the end it was a conversion to fit them on short wheelbase Series 2 and 2A Land Rovers that became the primary medium-range anti-armour weapon of the Australian Army. 69 units were built in total. These saw service in Vietnam, and some examples continued in active service until 1996. The conversion removed the doors and cut away part of the mudguards. The suspension was strengthened to carry the extra weight and absorb the shock of firing. A barrel clamp was fitted on the bonnet between 2 folding glass windscreen panels. The gun remained on its wheeled tripod mount and could be dismounted from the vehicle and dug in. The M40 recoilless rifle was a potent anti-tank weapon in its day. It fired both high-explosive anti-tank and high-explosive plastic rounds. This meant it was effective against armour but also good at reducing fortified positions. Gun buggies carried 7 rounds. Sighting was via a 50 caliber spotting gun mounted atop the barrel. It could engage moving targets out to 750 metres and stationary targets up to 1700 metres. The vehicles operated in pairs, firing from ambush positions where possible. It was reportedly difficult to drive and had a 30-metre backblast area where shock and concussion injury were likely. The shock of firing also usually damaged the fuel gauge, indicators, brake and instrument panel lights. Operators suffered significant permanent hearing loss. Despite these shortcomings, the gun buggy was an effective weapon and remained in service for 30 years, operating alongside Milan in the anti-tank role until both systems were replaced by the Javelin missile in the mid-90s. Let's see how the vehicle performs in Team Yankee. Here's the gun buggy's data card. It is unarmoured, so it's pretty fragile. However, this unit does get scout, so it can remain gone to ground if it's concealed by terrain and didn't shoot or assault. However, if it does shoot, the recoilless rule means it can't be concealed if it fired the previous shooting step. The guns kick up a big backblast signature, so once they've fired they can't count on cover. I would suggest a shoot and scoot movement order to get out of the line of sight would be a good tactic. Skill and courage are 3+, while morale and rally are 4+. Gun buggies can't assault or counterattack, they're just not built for it. If assaulted, they'll break off. They're hit on a 4+ and have a 4+ tank save. While not as good as an infantry save, this does make a difference. The 4+ save has saved my bacon more than once. While Land Rovers can make good movement on roads and okay cross-country movement, the terrain dash and tactical speeds are short. The tactical move models the fire from a short halt tactic commonly used by these guns. The 106mm recoilless rifle can fire 24 inches or 60 centimetres. Not a really long range, so you'll need to get in close. Rate of fire is 1 halted or moving, with the slow firing rule adding +1 to hit if firing on the move. The gun is useful against bunkers and dug-in infantry with the brutal rule for their HESH plastic rounds. Accurate means the gun doesn't get a +1 to hit for range against targets over 16 inches if the unit is stationary when firing. Just another incentive to be in ambush and fire from cover before redeploying. Heat means the target doesn't get +1 to their armour value over 16 inches either, but it does mean that BDD and side skirt armour values apply to side shots. The anti-tank value is only a modest 17. This means the Land Rovers will not be taking on main battle tanks from the front, but it can handle lighter APCs or older tanks, and has a chance against the side armour of some tanks. Gun buggies need to be handled with some skill, making good use of mobility, cover and the scout special rule and shoot and scoot orders to get the best out of them. So that's the anti-tank Land Rover section for Australian forces in Team Yankee. I've had some good experiences with them, but your mileage may vary. But they are a uniquely Australian vehicle that might add some fun flavour to your Australian list. Like this video if you found it useful, and subscribe to the Fog of War channel on YouTube to see more videos like this.